Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to this episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo. Today, diving into a topic that is pretty simple, really, and really simple to understand. But I think as I try to get better with my messaging in general, there is a lot of parallels to this technique and kind of system that is traditionally done in detailing, and what I'm trying to do with my brand, my product brand, to differentiate it from the rest of the market. And a lot of people talk about oversaturation and, oh my gosh, YouTubers having their own brands and blah, blah, blah. But one thing I've really come to realize is that the market only feels oversaturated when there's a bunch of just copycat products, or Me Too products, as a lot of people call them. When there's products in the market that, take a general iron remover, for example, right? If an iron remover by me is pretty much the same as an iron remover by Meguiar's or Turtle Wax or Chemical Guys, and there's no value difference, then the only thing that you can compete on is price and try to make things up, right? Like, oh, it smells like lemons instead of rotten eggs, or actually it just kind of smells like rotten eggs and lemon, right? Or if 3 or 4 different brands all have a spray polish that is all kind of the same, yeah, that's redundant. That's a Me Too product. That's a copycat product, right? And one thing that I've always set out, whether it's Tough as Shell back in the day, still is, I think, very unique and different, or any of the products in the Jimbo line, Jimbo's detailing line, they're all really unique. And when I look to set out to create a new product, I want it to be unique and different. And so this is kind of a product that has developed, the Picture Perfect Polish is kind of a product that has developed into its really own uniqueness. And so it's much more than just a one step, and it's really a unique product that I don't think our industry has ever talked about or ever seen. Talked about, sure. Seen, no. And so the topic today, I think those of you that do a lot of paint correction are going to be excited by this. And then those DIYers are also going to be equally excited about it. Because if you do any type of paint correction or ceramic coating installs, this product could really change everything for you. And it started with this question, among many other questions evolving around this particular product. But I thought, as we started to develop the product, as happens, kind of they take on a mind of their own and kind of ideas develop, I had this thought of like, what if you didn't need a panel prep after polishing, right? And not only was it just okay, but maybe it gave you even better ceramic coating results. I know that's kind of a bold statement. I know it's not a unique statement. I know there are and have been, I remember all the way back to I think it was Car Pro Essence was like a primer polish, they called it. I know there's a few others on the market right now. But I thought, what if I could incorporate it into the Picture Perfect polish, right? And so what I hope to do kind of in this podcast, and then I have a previous video on it, I have another video coming out, it's kind of a 3-part series, is I want to walk you through not just what I'm seeing in my testing, but why it works, and possibly what this means for the industry and what it could mean for really specifically your process. And so when we think about the traditional way things are done, you polish the paint, maybe you get a compound and then a polish, or a 1-step and a polish, or maybe you're rotary, maybe you're sanding, rotary, you're doing like a three-step. That was kind of the traditional old ways, right? You do a 3-step paint correction, which is insane. And then you grab a panel prep. It's usually an IPA mix or a dedicated prep spray. It could be a concoction that you've made at home. Maybe you're buying it from a brand because the brand says that you need that specific prep spray. But really, all we're trying to do is remove the oil. So whether it's a dedicated prep spray by a brand, or it's just you concocting your own mixture at home, you're basically trying to do the same thing, right? You're just trying to strip the surface down, right? Strip everything off the surface. Keep the correction that you did, but strip all the extra oils. And all the extra stuff is really what we're going to be talking about today, because that's where I think my brand and the Jimbo's Detailing brand really is showcasing how unique the products that I develop are, because most polishes have these oils, lubricants, fillers, solvents that make the polishing smoother, but they leave a residue behind, right? And that residue is interfering with how the ceramic coating bonds to the paint, which is why traditionally everyone says to use an IPA, right? So the panel wipe step is really this like ritual in detailing, right? Because if you skip it, you risk the coating failure, high spots, durability issues, application issues, all that kind of stuff. Maybe it doesn't bond properly, and so the warranty is not going to hold. Maybe your client's going to come back in a month because their coating's not hydrophobic anymore, right? The problem is, and I think the reason why we started to see brands like CarPro try to come out with something like Essence or the panel polish or panel prep polish. I think even Shine Supply had one. I don't know. They might still do. I know DIY Detail has their adhesion promoter polish. And I think all those come from the idea that panel wiping or panel prep isn't foolproof. And it's actually a necessary step currently that is actually creates a lot of headache. It can mar soft paint. It adds a little bit of time. It adds chemicals and cost. If you have employees doing it, it can add cost there. And really, it doesn't guarantee a perfect bond, especially if the polish is really, really oily, right? So again, and the problem with all the, whether it's the adhesion promoter polish or a panel prep polish or call it whatever you want to call it, a polish before you apply a ceramic coating. So not having to wipe the panel, which I think would still be a safer way to go about things, to try to have something like a CarPro Essence. The problem is that when I use those products, I would like them. And the reason why I really never used them beyond the first bottle that I bought was that it doesn't feel like you're doing anything. Right. And here's the big one. I don't know if those products, because you do have to have oils in your polish and you do have to have solvents in there. You can't just, swirl around nothing on the paint, right? You have to actually make a formula. So there are solvents and oils even in those prep polishes. And so who's to say that they're actually getting the surface bare as well? So, but the problem is that they don't offer any polishing or any correcting at all. So what even back in the day when I was using Essence or the one bottle Essence, I thought, man, if I could get like 5% correction out of this, I can, get the paint pretty good and then hit it with the panel polish prep for the last 5%, and then that would be perfect. And they never did. So even when you look at the marketing claims behind a lot of these prep polishes, they all talk about how they don't do any correcting at all. There's barely any abrasive in there at all, right? And so when I started developing the Picture Perfect polish, it started with a very simple premise. One step, great cut, great finish, no dust, right? But as what is very common happens, they start to take on kind of a mind of their own, and your ideas start to run crazy of like, oh, what if I could do this? Or what if I could do that? Or what if I could, do this? Or why? Here's my favorite question. Why? Right? So why can't we do this? Why can't we go straight to ceramic coating, tough as shell from this polish? What would prohibit us from doing that? Right. And I learned that and I showed on YouTube, right, and the conversations that Tom and I had of like, well, you can't do that currently because these product brands just fill the formula with oil. You look at these SDS sheets, they're 20 to 30% oil, right? And so they're doing that to get better workability. That's why the marketing claims for all these, polishes that you guys like are, well, the workability is insane. It could work forever, right? And then they stuff it with really bad solvents to try to evaporate those oils, right? And so then the wipe off becomes hard, right? And so I started asking, well, why do they do that, right? Why can't we do it a different way? Is it a possibility to do it a different way? But then you get into this huge nightmare of the concoction And the formula has to have the right amount of oils to have workability, the right amount of solvents to, dissipate those oils a little bit, and then to also make the wipe off good. But then you have additional ingredients that I won't talk about that help kind of mix all those together. You have to have super clean water. Tom talked about that in one of the podcasts, like super, super clean water. Can't have it rely on silicone heavy ingredients, greasy carriers, all this crazy stuff that give you the film on the surface, and all that adds up, right? And so all of that together is swirling around on the surface of the car mixed in with abrasives, which, man, the amount of stuff I've learned about abrasives is insane. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff, and the information I've been able to acquire is just insane. Just the abrasive alone can give you a completely different result. And then there's thousands and thousands of different types of abrasives. And it's super, super hard to narrow it down. That's why most brands put in a bunch of oil. They put in a bunch of oil because they don't have the abrasive down, or they have the abrasive good enough. And that's another common thing in my detailing business. We do it this way because we've always done it this way. When it comes to product development, it's good enough, just package it and ship it. And so all these products on the market are good enough. No one's taking it that extra 5% to really get it perfect. And to be fair, then they can sell you another product. We have heavy cut compounds. Are they needed? Maybe. But then the heavy cut compounds also lead way to, hey, now we need a polish to fix what we just messed up with the heavy cut compound, right? And then now we need a panel prep, which is another SKU that we can sell to remove all the oils that we have still on the surface, because we really didn't dial in the polish and the compound formula. We just kind of shipped it because it was good enough and did what we thought it needed to do. And now we could sell another product to remove all those extra oils, because we didn't really want to work anymore on that formula, because it gets frustrating to continue to work on the formula, or your chemist just ran out of know-how, or you don't have enough testers, or for whatever reason, or hey, we can increase profitability and we have another SKU. So we could sell 3 SKUs instead of Jimbo's only selling 1, right? I get it. From a brand perspective, I also get it, right? But as I ask these questions, well, why? Well, why? How could we change that? Could we, change the oil? Could we put a higher end solvent? Could we do this or that? And it would give a better result. And what I found is, yes, you can. It does take more time. I'm sorry, the polish is taking a little bit longer. But it is possible with capable people on your team. And luckily for me, I asked the questions, and then I also have the capable people on my team that know where to go, know what questions to ask, and start asking raw material suppliers. And then you find out, oh yeah, for a little extra money, you can buy this solvent and it's way better. For a little extra money, you could do this oil as a replacement, or this oil blend as a replacement. And yes, it's going to make the final formula more expensive, but you will get a much better result. Oh, the wipe off won't be a nightmare? No. Oh, okay. And then I take that back and I'm like, you know what? I'm willing to invest more money into the formula, because I think the end user will also be willing to pay more money for the end formula if it's a better formula. Now, I will say I'm guilty of this too. I get over paying more money for something and then it doesn't deliver, right? So I'm very sensitive to that. So again, I have built this formula to the max. I'm hyping it up like crazy because I think it's worth it. I don't think there's any other formula, any other compound, polish, one step, whatever you want to call it, on the market that is going to be able to compete with the Picture Perfect polish. And with this added benefit that you can ceramic coat right on top of it, or toughest shell right on top of it, and it's going to bond properly because there's nothing interfering with that bonding process without an IPA. This is huge. This is huge, and I'm very, very, very excited about it. Yes, it is me as a brand owner selling less products. Not ideal. But my theory is that I will sell a lot more of a product that actually delivers than I would selling 3 different products that are all look-alike, copycat, Me Too products, right? That's my theory that I'm going on. Time will tell if I'm right in that or not. But I think for myself, if I think about what I want as a detailer first, or a DIYer doing their car, I want a product that just delivers. And if that product delivers, I will buy that over and over and over, and I will tell my friends about it, and on and on and on. And that's exactly what I want as a brand owner too. I want someone to be going to dinner with their friend and talk about how, hey, they just used this new car wash soap or this, ceramic spray, and they can't believe how good their car looks. Or maybe they parked their car at valet, their friend rolls up, valet brings their car around, and the guy's like, oh my gosh, dude, your car looks amazing. What are you doing? Oh man, I used Jimbo's Toughest Shell. Oh man, I used Jimbo's Gloss Spots. Oh man, I just polished it with the picture perfect polish. Those are the conversations that I'm starting to already have with my product brand. And those are the conversations I want, because I'd actually rather have less products and sell more of those less products than have more products and sell less of them, right? So here we go. What this really means, it's not about skipping a step or being a lazy detailer. I'm not a lazy person. I'm incredibly hardworking, right? It's about being efficient. And for detailers, whether you're mobile, doing multiple vehicles, multiple cars, cutting out the panel prep step not only saves you, 10 minutes a job, which is real money, real efficiency, but it's also less risk. We all know this. Some paints, especially soft black paints, they mar super easily, and wiping them with a panel prep can introduce the micromarring, right? That then needs to be polished again, right? And what if the solvents in the compound or polish that you're using are artificially swelling the paint, which happens with cheap solvents and cheap products, right? Artificially swelling the paint because you heated up those solvents, and so you're actually getting a false read on what the surface looks like, and then you're ceramic coating over that. Very dangerous, right? This eliminates that. Less product, fewer towels, fewer steps, less overhead, and more profitability. For the DIYer at home, it's less products, fewer steps to remember. As I dive into this DIY kind of section of the market, this prosumer, they're looking at us to, and they're confused. What pads, what steps, what do I do next? Compound, to us as detailers, it's common knowledge, but to the prosumer who just got a new car and wants to dial it in and make it look like a pro did it because they're just in love with it, they're confused. They're confused at our market. And then they're confused by the product brands that continue to spew out information that makes it even more confusing. Instead of simplifying the process, they overcomplicate it. Now you need this panel prep. Actually, no panel prep. You need this, prep polish. Wait, what? Like, okay. And then what pad I need? I need a different machine. I need a different pad with that. Should I just spray and wipe anyway? Do I still need to spray and wipe? Because you said that I polish and then I need a panel prep, but now you have another polish that's okay to not panel prep. I'm confused. And I'm over here saying, hey, all you need is one product. All you need, one liquid. One liquid, knock your car out, move on to the next, and then move on with your day. Enjoy your car. You bought the new car to enjoy, not to sit and polish it forever, right? So if you're a DIYer, you want to enjoy your car. You want to go drive it. You want to admire it. You don't want to be sitting on it forever, right? If you're a detailer, you want to get done, get paid, and move on to the next, right? So the problem is also consistency. We also know, we all know that the results of panel prep can vary, right? How much you spray, dwell time, how many passes. With the picture perfect polish, it's consistency every time, period, right? So the picture perfect polish gives you a really clean slate. There's nothing going to be left to interfere with the ceramic coating or the wax that you want to put on top or whatever. You're laying straight on a clean, polished surface, right? Coatings need that. They love that. That's what they want. Most polishes out there, again, aren't built like this. And so you got to be careful with those other ones. So I really do think, too, that this is the direction the industry needs to go. Not should go. Not saying that because my products are doing that. But I really feel like this is the way the industry needs to go. Smarter products, fewer steps, better results. I really do think we're moving away from the overcomplicated multi-step systems that burn time and honestly freaking wear you out, right? I think for me, my detailing business ran on this. My product line runs on this. It's about simplifying without compromising, right? So if I can improve it, make it better, it's going to be better for everyone involved. Again, better for me, better for you. And I think as products evolve, we'll start seeing more of this like coating ready polishes hit the market. But right now, I genuinely believe that the picture perfect polish is leading the shift. So again, we're almost ready. I have a couple additional YouTube videos coming out to prove this, but I really do think this is where the industry is headed. I'm happy to kind of spearhead this. I am a big believer in all ships rise in a high tide, and so I hope the industry is moving this way, just a simplified approach to car care. But again, simplification without compromise is kind of the name of the game right there. So with that, if you guys would like to pre-order the Picture Perfect Polish, I will leave a link below. If you'd like to support the Jimbo's Detailing brand and see kind of in real life what all these things that I'm talking about, they're not just wild, outlandish claims, actually back up the claims. Hundreds and hundreds of reviews on jimbosdetailing.com, so you could check those out if you would like as well. But again, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to do. This is my literally life's work. Everything that I've worked on over the past 10 years of putting content on online, or 11 years, is a culmination in my own product line. And it's really my plan A, B, C, D, E, and F. I really have no fallback. So I appreciate the support, and I show that I value that support in giving extremely good products that you will not be disappointed, and they're easy to use and they're not overcomplicated. So you can head over to jimbosdetailing.com. I'll put a link below, also available across Amazon as well. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.